Facebook world, getting ready to do a live Enlightened Conversation with Sanmati out in India. Awesome human, spiritual teacher, healer, and we're flowing. She just had a power outage out in India, and it's like she's making it do. It's why we get cool. We get her in cool candlelight, and she was gracious enough to talk to us late at night, her time. It's like 10:30, 10:45 now, where she is. So we appreciate her. Okay, let me just start this live. Share to some groups. Cool. Technology is cool. The main reason it's cool because we were able to connect, but then also to be able to share it with people so easily is awesome.
That's true.
If you guys are watching this live or on the replay, hit the share button. It will be very beneficial for anyone watching. Okay. Now we're live everywhere. Oops. Okay. Just going to say join us on Zoom and ask questions. Hello, Emily. So this picture on here is not going to be so good because me and Sanmati are talking on Zoom. But if you guys want to join on Zoom and participate, I'll put the link here, and you guys can join us. Sanmati, what's your handle on Instagram? It's Sanmati. It's your first and last name.
Sanyam. Or they can look up House of Faith.
I'm gonna do at Sanmati and then Sanyam. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I like to test my memory. I'm happy that my mind gave me your spelling of your name just right there.
It's amazing. Please don't ask me yours.
Well, it's not even on my Instagram anymore. It's used to be, but now
I
it's
just remember
not.
Noel.
Yes.
I'm the angel of abundance.
That's easy to remember.
It is.
Okay, we're starting on Zoom and ask questions. Universal Abundance. CO/podcast. All right, we're ready.
How many members are there in this Universal Abundance community as of now?
We will talk about that off camera. So I've been keeping the numbers on purpose. Okay. I decided at the beginning I'm going to keep the numbers private when there's one member and when there's 1 million members and everything in between. So, and there's reasons for that. I want people to focus on what they want to manifest for them. The overall, like what's already manifested, I see that as a big challenge for humanity, always focusing on what already is created. Because what's going to help the people that are participating ongoing, what's going to help them is uplifting their own consciousness and then manifesting whatever it is that they see for themselves. That's what's going to help them, not what's already created. It won't have anything to do with them. So, and there's other reasons for that too, as far as not wanting the government to know specifically what money is coming in to me. They will on the taxes, but just I like people. I don't like to really talk too much openly on public stuff about like money specifically, because that's when they're like, oh, let's pay more attention to this Noel guy. I'd prefer to just flow and leave me alone. So, but I'll tell you some stuff when we finish. All right, let's do it. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today and have an awesome guest with us who is out in India under candlelight right now, as it's late, and she just had I always tell her I have a story that the universe wants all this information out there. So even though she had a power outage and they're working on that, like when we came on, it was like all like lit up, and then all of a sudden like power went out. But we're still flowing with you guys. Just shows that the universe wants the important part of this, which is the frequency and the vibe and the sound that will come out of our mouths as a reflection of that vibe to go out to all of you guys. So I'm excited to introduce you guys to Sanmati, and She is a healer and spiritual teacher, and we connected not too long ago, thanks to social media on Instagram, and found her page and immediately saw the light that she was sharing and invited her to come have a conversation with me. And so that's what we're going to do right now. And without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Sanmati. And if you could share with the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, all these good things.
Thank you, Noel, and hi, guys. So, I would not call myself a spiritual teacher at all. I think I'm just someone who is having an experience and learning and sharing. But I'm really involved in energy healing. And the story is that I was suffering deeply, and I have known about energy healing because my mother was practicing while we were children. And for me, it's been 10 years now that I've been studying and practicing. But there was one interesting incident which shifted everything is when actually I got facial paralysis and I got an allergic reaction to a medicine. So my face was big and swollen. I had blood clots in my cheeks. And the facial nerve that passes signal to the lip was compressed and it wasn't functioning properly. And at that time, doctors said that it could take a month, a couple of months, couple of years to heal. There was no guarantee. So in that situation, pranic healing came to my rescue, and I realized that when you're seeing your face like that in the mirror, it can be very psychologically taxing. But because I was receiving healing, I was very comfortable through the whole process, and that made me realize that I've known about energy, I've known about healing for so many years, but I still didn't think it could help me with something so major, not just physically but also psychologically and emotionally. And before that, I was working in a different city in the film business. And I just decided that this is what I want to do. So I never went back to the assistant director's job. And usually, for everything in my life, I feel I try to control and I need to be, like in charge of everything. I think this was the only moment when I allowed myself to go with the flow, and it felt like a profession was choosing me. And that's how this whole journey of energy healing began. And so it wasn't something that I planned to do. I think it was just something that was meant to happen, and it happened through suffering.
I love it. I love it. I always love when people share things that were in the moment, really challenging parts of life that lead to lots of evolution. And it's like when you mentioned having facial paralysis and some of the challenges that you experienced, just great reminders for all of us that really we came here for our souls to evolve, and that would include not just like rainbows and fairy tales and like unicorns everywhere, but also some challenging times as well. And so I love that I love that your story has led you to being able to evolve to where you are today. And Instagram disagrees with you. They think that you're a spiritual teacher because that's how I found you. So we'll have to take that up with Instagram. But you're teaching by example, if nothing else, which I believe is the best way that any of us can be of service to each other, is to be the example of the light that we want to see in the world. Whatever it is, you want to help someone be healthy, be an example of health. Happy, be an example of happiness. And you're being a great example of what we would perceive a spiritual teacher to be. So thank you for doing that.
That's very kind of you.
So for you, Samani, I'm always curious, like, how did your journey lead you from, the experiences that you had? Because I know to be true, all of us come into these lives as little unconditional loving little babies. And, we're not comparing ourselves to anyone. Like we're not asking, are we enough or are we worthy, or any of these questions that sometimes we'll ask as we start to get older. And the reason that one of the big reasons I do what I do and why so many of us do what we do is because it's just awesome to see the light bulb come back on for a human being where they remember, what we all knew when we were little unconditional loving little babies. So for you, how did that journey unfold? And then, taking it further, you knew that you wanted to help share your light and help other people on their journeys as a healer and everything that you're doing. Can you explain how that unfolded for you a little bit?
Okay, So the healing bit is something that happened much later because it wasn't something that I felt like doing professionally. It was just something that I felt I learned because I feel that once someone understands how energy works, how energy influences us, it actually makes the world of a difference. You can be an athlete, you can be a businessman, you can be a dancer, singer, and at the same time, you can be someone who's a student of energy healing. So for me, that was the perspective that it was something I wanted to learn. And but talking about the service aspect and sharing aspect of things, I always say that I think I was born into service. That's what I've seen. That's what my family is into. So I think that feeling was very strong since the beginning while growing up. It's just that I didn't know in what capacity will I be sharing and serving. And I think the major realization was that people don't know that something like this exists. They don't know they can be cured, they can be healed, and they can actually, uh, come home to themselves. Because, like, if I give you a small example, my teacher would always say that whatever you learn, you have to apply it to yourself first, then people around you, and then you go out there and share. So once this whole healing thing happened, and I was working on healing myself, and multiple issues happened with me. The biggest victory or the biggest achievement was, or the biggest testimonial to the power of energy healing was that my father was diagnosed with hepatitis B, and my mother was had thyroid for over 8.5 years. So she was on medication every day for 8.5 years. The weight was increasing, and it hits your self confidence. And similarly for my dad, it was like borderline that if you don't mend your ways now, you might not make it. And 6 to 12 months of healing for both of them, that thing is completely gone from the body. For hepatitis, it's completely gone from the genetic makeup of the body. So when something like that happens, it's like it builds your faith step by step. For instance, someone who wants to commit suicide. Now, yes, there is one way to understand it. There are environmental factors, social factors, different factors. But once you see from the perspective of energy that, oh, the aura is depleted, a certain chakra is under functioning, and that's why that function of that chakra is not able to manifest in the person's life, and then they feel that instinct of survival is missing. So for me, I think just this understanding and this desire that, you know what, if only people know about this, their life will change, their perspective will shift. So that was the intention. I'm sorry if I am taking too long to answer your questions.
No such thing as taking too long. You flow out whatever is meant to flow out. As everybody that's watched any of these or listened to any of these knows, these just flow whatever energy is meant to flow out, and with the intention of uplifting, with one thing, something for the audience. And I definitely know that if you're listening to this live right now, or when it's released, on iTunes and Spotify, or whenever, 50 years from now, if you're attracted to this, I'm pretty sure you're going to have one thing that will help you in this conversation, and if you haven't already. So I love it. So my question is, Samani, because what you said right there, as far as just being able to, I mean, you're just talking about being an example of having a new awareness and then applying it in our life first, and then by that example already being able to inspire people, and then actually being able to help people along their journey, which is awesome. I see that as the most valuable thing that we can do for another human being, is be the example. And then if they have questions, or are still unclear, like, to be able to give them access to us, because we can get information everywhere these days, but for us to be able to give of ourselves to someone, to where they can actually access us, ask us questions, and we can share our life experiences, I think that's even more powerful. So that's awesome how you just described that. I saw a post, and I don't always look too much on people's Instagram, because I like to have just fresh questions, and I don't want to have any preconceived anything. But I saw an interesting picture on your, and I almost used it for the flyer for this, but I was like, if I was going to use this one, it would only be that picture. I wouldn't have put myself in it, because I would be like, this picture is just by itself. But the one where you were giving appreciation to a mentor, the one where it's like golden light, and they're like, that one.
Yeah.
Can you explain, if you're open to that, like what what mentor is that, and I mean, because I think mentors are so important. And before you answer, just for everybody out there, just knowing that you can be mentored by someone that's not even in your life personally. Could be like through a book, someone from afar, like through social media. I have mentors right now that are on Sanmati's Lights. Sanmati's Lights just came back. We knew they would come back. She's so happy. She's so happy. I love it. I love it. I may point you guys on Instagram towards her screen now so you can see. But yeah, so just knowing that we can have new awareness and consciousness come from anywhere, anytime, anyone. But just as far as your mentors go, and that maybe that one in specific, tell us about that.
Okay, so the healing practice is called pranic healing, and the word pranic comes from the Sanskrit term prana, which means life energy, or in the Chinese medicine they refer to as qi. So this concept of energy healing is what I learned from this teacher who you saw in the picture. His name is Grandmaster Chua Kok Sui. He was basically man from the Philippines who was a businessman, engineer, who devoted his life to studying and learning the best of the West and the East and bringing it together in a way that is applicable very comfortably in 21st century with the busyness of our lives and everything. And Master Choa's vision is to bring heaven on earth by having one healer in every family. Because he says if one person in a family is a healer, the entire family is uplifted. And you're right when you say that a spiritual teacher doesn't have to be in front of you to teach you. Because when I came across the teachings, it was 2010, and Master Choa left his body in 2007. But if I were to share my experience with you, every day when I go to bed, and this has been by default almost for years now, I just close my eyes and I look back and reflect through the day, and I'm like, oh my God, this was such an amazing day. Oh my God, this is the best day ever. And I feel that there are problems and hardships, and you suffer and you cry, all that happens. But I feel like someone's holding my finger and taking me through life. So I feel his presence very, very strongly, and I think it's we are all souls here who are using the physical body as an instrument in this lifetime. So that's the teacher.
I love it, and I love that you just further drove home that we can have mentors that don't even have to be here still in the physical body, and that they can still make just as much of an impact on us. Awesome reminder, because then what I know for all of us as human beings, Samani, is when we're open for new awareness, new consciousness that can help us, can uplift us in any area of our life, when we're open to it, and doesn't matter to us how it comes or when it comes or where it comes from, but just knowing that it's coming, like always coming, because life is just one ongoing synchronicity of things that we can't ever predict. When we are at that place, when we allow ourselves to be there, then it's just like we can receive new information, new awareness, new consciousness from anywhere, anytime, from anyone, and then apply it, like you mentioned, and then be so valuable, not only to yourself, but to those around you. And I mean, some of the biggest, like I have a book right here that was like The Science of Getting Rich, was written in 1910 by Wallace Wattles, that I had a mentor share with me almost 12 years ago. And before that, I hadn't read a book at all in my whole life. Like, it's by choice. Like, I read little sections of books inside of school, but that was only to try to get grades on a test, which even those weren't anything to brag about. I was an athlete in school, so I was more focused on what time is recess, what time is the sports class, when can I go play. But my point is just being open. I've never thought that I knew it all, and I know that none of us will ever know it all. It's not necessary for us to, because if we did, it would be kind of be bored here anyways. Like, kind of have this game called life completely figured out, and there's no more adventure to be had. Like we passed all the levels. Like it's it. Like we'd be ready to go. So I'm appreciative that there's more awareness and more consciousness to be had, and not thinking that I need it in order to be able to live now, though, or to be happy now. Like, we have everything that we need right here and now, and we'll also attract more, which is awesome. We'll always be evolving and expanding. So I love how you just described that. Did that lead to additional, like, consciousness as far as either other mentors or just discoveries that you made in your life that, allowed you to continue to evolve into? How long ago was this that you said you discovered them in 2010, so a decade ago? Yeah. So in this past decade, you've probably been like super evolving. It's probably changed a lot in this last decade.
I think the journey has phases. There are months when it's like faster accelerated growth, and there are moments when you feel like you've hit stagnation. So I wouldn't deny that feeling is always there, but uh, in hindsight you always like, oh my god, I learned so much, especially in that period of stagnation and all those challenges. So wow, it's been 10 years. Amazing. And one thing I want to add is that um, I don't know how to put it. It's like before I had this understanding of energy and healing and consciousness and how we are the soul, and um, how we are learning and evolving through different experiences, how everything is subject to change. It's like um, you are miserable, or you are not living your best life, but you're not even aware about it. So before pranic healing happened, nothing, it's not like anything was wrong, but I just didn't know that I could even feel this way. I could feel this constant state of bliss. So that was what was eye-opening. I'm like, oh my god, every day, every experience, something new to learn, some things to share, something that like some expansion of consciousness was happening. So I felt that a lot of people out there, um, it's like they don't even know what they don't know. Something like that. I don't know if
Absolutely.
it makes sense.
Absolutely. Don't know what they don't know, and don't know that they don't know that they don't know, which makes it even more challenging. And this is exactly why I do what I do, because I want all of us to know who we truly are, because all of us, as you know, Samani, are just different expressions of the same non-physical. Like, these are just our physical, like, shells, our physical avatars that we see. And mine is named Noel, yours is named Samani, yours is named out there, whoever yours is named. And when we can realize that anytime we're seeing another human being, doing anything that we're like, wow, that's awesome that they're doing that, whatever it is, that's just another expression of us. And, maybe we're not inspired to do the exact same thing. However, we have things that are inspirations inside of us as well, that the same energy used to create that thing for them is the same energy that we're going to use to create whatever it is that we desire to create for ourselves. And the beautiful thing about sharing a planet with 7.7 billion other humans is, since the world is all, the whole universe, it's all expansion, and everything is always expanding, 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 evolving, evolving, evolving. If you out there remember who you truly are and realize, oh, there are some things that I want to see change in the world, some things that I want to create while I'm here, awesome. Like, that's why, excuse me, that's why I root for you guys so hard and want to do whatever I can do to help, with that process, because not only are you adding to all that is, adding to everything that we all get to experience, it makes the life experience more fun for me, for Samani, for everybody out there. If you create a new technology or write a new book or create a new food or a new life, a new experience that right now we don't even know, what it is, but you have that vision inside of you, and that's a side note to that, because you have that vision inside of you, and that's yours, and that's something that you want to see. Don't expect everybody else to just fully understand that, like, right off the bat, because they have their own vision and their own life experience that they're living. However, every single one of us can create whatever it is that vision is for us. And there's ways to go about doing it that apply to all of us. So I don't remember exactly what made me start saying all that, but I appreciate it.
No, but I really have to say what you're doing is so incredible. Because obviously I didn't have the time to go through everything, but I realized that you've almost hit like podcast 150. So I was just wondering that, oh my God, I need to take out like just 2, 3 weeks time to go through all of that, and to, it's like just learn from all these people, and have that experience. So thank you so much for doing what you're doing. And I think it takes a lot of commitment and discipline. I wish I can imbibe that from you.
I appreciate you saying that and affirming that. And this is why I tell people tune in live, because the actual episodes of these will come out, I always say, weeks later, because I already have like through episode 175 and beyond recorded. So I just have to put them out. Like I'm going to put out episode 151, I think, today, or 152. I don't remember which is the last one, but yeah, so I'm putting them out. But the conversation part is like, I always leave it up to you guys when, it's the timing is right. Because I'm always excited to have this type of conversation. It's even more exciting, like I share with you, that we get to record it and share it so that it's not just us, like, uplifting each other's consciousness, which would be awesome. It would be fun vibes for sure. We go take that energy and go be an example, like we were talking about, and all these things. I just want to utilize all the technology. Like right now, if someone is live on Instagram, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, they can watch this, and it could impact them. Whether they do or not, I never tell people should or shouldn't. Choose what you want. I just know that we're going to share things that could be impactful for anybody, and that just makes it fun. Makes it fun to be alive.
This reminds me of something very interesting. I've heard about people who met the teacher when he was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So he would travel all over the world and teach. So initially, they would not have people make notes in the class. And the reason behind that was that he would say that whatever you need, your energy body will absorb. And whatever you're able to retain is what is meant for you. So when you said that, whoever is meant to connect to this conversation will automatically do.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, because we all know, like, when we've had those moments in our life where we became aware of something that really hit home for us, like we had it, like that light bulb came on in that area of life. And that's the cool thing as an adult. Like once, it's kind of almost like if you help somebody remember who they truly are, have the light bulb come on for them, that can't go off as an adult. Like you're always going to have, even if you choose to practice something different, because all of this is a practice that we talk about. Like even when you describe, discovering that you could be, in a constant state of bliss, which is just awesome. Like to even, and I wanted to make sure that I shared, because you inspired me when you shared that. Even to be aware, like you mentioned, that these states of being exist, because a lot of people, and I've been here and we've all been here, like we think of how we're feeling on the inside as we need something on the outside in order to feel this way on the inside. And this used to be my greatest weakness, always thinking, if you're doing something really fun, then you could be in that state of bliss. If you're having the time of your life doing whatever, then you can feel good on the inside. So I always heard myself saying, like, I was always looking forward to something, and that's when I felt good. Like, oh, I'm excited for the weekend, or oh, I'm excited for, this event, or I'm excited for whatever else. And if I couldn't think of anything that I was looking forward to, then I wasn't feeling very good on the inside. And if things in my life currently that maybe it was a rough day at a job, or maybe it was, I didn't play a good game, in sports or whatever, it was totally like deciding how I felt on the inside. So even to have the awareness and the discovery that we can control, and we can have the inside vibrating at the frequency that we want it to, just because we want it to, and we can understand like some practices and how we can actually do that, allow it to be that. Once we discover that it's there, now you can get back to it. Like now the frequency of bliss is there, and you know how to get back to it in the ways that you know how to allow it to be that. So what are some ways that you allow your frequency to be what you just described when it comes out, or if you want to chime in on anything that I said, please feel free.
I think when we speak about raising your vibration, what I understand, doing one thing that really helps is that it's something called inner reflection, which leads to character building. So basically, if the focus is to develop the right inner resources, that helps you instantly increase your vibrations. For example, you reflect through the whole day and you realize that you've been injurious in your speech, or you've been injurious in your thoughts towards other people. It could mean something very basic. It could be like, oh my God, you're a fool. Oh, you're so lazy. Oh, you're good for nothing. Anything. This is some level of verbal injury. If you look at something on the internet, or if you see someone and maybe they're wearing something that doesn't align with your fashion taste or X, Y, Z, any reason, mentally you think, oh my God, they're so hideous. So what are they wearing? That's mental criticism. Now, once you become aware that you are doing stuff like that, and you take a moment to plant the opposite that you should have done, or the other person could have done in that situation, that leads to changing of that pattern and that nature in you, which actually on the energy level helps you release stuck up energies of injuriousness in your system, or low self-esteem, lack of self-love, whatever is the reason. Once that energy releases from the body, there is room for something else to come in. So a lot of times people keep doing affirmations. Oh, I'm rich, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, I'm attracting XYZ. But there are sometimes people who come and say that, you know what, I did so and so and it didn't work for me. I've been doing affirmations for years, it doesn't work for me. But the reason why it doesn't work is because your glass is full with the belief system that you have around money, poverty consciousness, inability to give, inability to share, sometimes inability to release, sometimes sabotage. But once you've not released this, there's no space for that energy of prosperity and abundance to live in your energy field, your system. So I think the key to inner transformation and increasing your vibration lies in character building. And this is all what my teacher used to say. If someone asked him that, what do you emphasize more on, meditation or purifications, he would say character building. A man cannot meditate, a man cannot do anything, but if he's practicing right thoughts, right words, right actions, the energy frequency would be another level. And there was an incident once where he shared that there are some people who practice self honesty to such a high degree that when they say something, it becomes the responsibility of higher beings and angels and whatever people believe in based on their faith. They make sure that that thing manifests because that person doesn't lie. So if the person has said that, oh, you know how in India there's spiritual teachers, someone would touch you and say you are healed. Now the guru is practicing such high degree of honesty that those words have to manifest. So that, I think I went off topic a bit.
I love everything that you just said. So important. And what I want to emphasize that Samani mentioned, it's practice. It's a practice. And that's why I always tell people, like, if it matters to you, like the character building, what you just described, like that is for sure a practice. And it starts with being aware that there's some things that you even want to shift. Like it even matters to you to actually start taking, right thoughts, right words, right actions, like getting your vibration in the moment to the point. What I love about knowing about frequency and energy is I know that from the energy that I'm in right now, the frequency that I'm in right now, the only thoughts that can pop into my mind are going to be a match to that frequency, to that energy. And so our thoughts and our words are really great indicators if maybe we're not being mindful of what our vibration, our energy is. So it's like everything is like playing a part, because none of us are ever going to have like a mean and angry, like rageful, hateful thought if we're like genuinely like being loved or genuinely being happy or genuinely being at peace. Like it's just not at the same time, because the moment that you start to say, oh, that was a mean thought, or oh my gosh, that felt terrible, that mean thing that I just said, or oh, that action that I just took was, oh, I don't like that at all. You can be like, wow, I've been in a pretty like rough mood today. I've been pretty, frustrated. I've been pretty upset, throughout, because that's the only way that you're going to have those thoughts and speak those words and take those actions. So if it matters to us out there, then you start to be aware of it before it turns into one thought, two thought, three thoughts. Like you can have. So for me, I'll use myself as an example, Samani. I grew up like playing competitive sports, and as kids, like we were always like talking trash to each other back and forth, like just competitive, just talking like really not very nice things. Like people might say, do these kids even like each other? I thought they were on the same team. Why are they saying these things to each other? And so that's just how we, we're practicing. That's how we grew up. And then shifting that into adulthood, you realize that really what we could label that as being very critical of other human beings and also being critical of ourselves, when we're not playing how we think we should play and blah, blah, blah. And so that energy of being critical, if you practice that for a few decades from the time you're born until you're going to get really good at being critical. So where, you could be out in the world and anyone can do something that you don't feel is acceptable. You're judging it and you're being very critical immediately of this human being, which your energy, you're never going to feel good being critical of another human being or yourself. Like it's never going to, if we're measuring energy, which can be done now in 2020 and beyond, which is awesome, that science is like, it's more than just like us describing energy. Like this can be measured scientifically. But in that moment, if we were measuring it, from the time you recognizing another human being and being critical of them, we'll just see your energy going, just moving towards from wherever you were down towards being angry and upset and frustrated and, lashing out. That's just not going to feel too good for any of us. So we can be aware of that. And now fast forward all these years later, as I've been practicing this for a long time, if I even notice myself even think one critical thought, I immediately say, stop it, Noel. Like that's not, we're not going, I don't need a second or a third critical thought. And then I get to use that as an indicator of how's your vibration right now, Noel? Like how's your energy like in this moment? And the question of, can our frequency be, higher or better, or if we don't want to judge it, the answer is always yes, because it's unlimited. So, but that's just a really good indicator if I even find myself thinking one thought, but to have the awareness to stop it before it turns into words or actions. Like it doesn't have to go all the way there to where, I don't know what got over me. Like I'm just, I'm all of a sudden I'm fighting with these people. Like it didn't start with the fighting. It started with the energy and then it turned into the thoughts and then it turned into the words and then it turned into the actions. So we can stop it before it gets all the way there if it matters to us. And then it's just a practice,
But as you said that it takes years of unlearning and rewiring because, we are so conditioned to function a certain way that sometimes you don't even realize that, like 5 people sitting together and talking about 10 people who are not there. So for them, it could be just talking, but technically it's basically sitting and gossiping and criticizing. So it's like it takes a lot of self-awareness and at the same time, it's so much effort. So there are times when you're like, what? I don't want to do anything. I want to be angry. And I want to be this person because I think we push ourselves too hard or we don't push at all. So most people fluctuate between these two extremes. And I've often found that, with the whole world, I don't think I have friction. There are hardly people, I think, who can say that I fight or I raise my voice. But I have friction at home. And sometimes I wonder, like, why? Like, why do I become like that? And then I realize that, sometimes even if the desire and intent is there to be better and to be harmonious, there is so much subconscious past triggers and some belief systems that you've formed connected with your parents or your siblings while you're growing up that it's them that are governing you. So till the time you don't go back to the root, identify, release, forgive, whatever it is needed to be done, we are governed by the same pattern. So I just feel that, as you said, a lot of practice.
Absolutely.
And I don't think I'm anywhere close to even mastering even one of the virtues.
The good news for all of us is all of us can only be any of the stuff that we're talking about in the moment. It's only right now and right now and right now. Our state of being is always right now. And so just the fact that you start to notice it, and say you are someone out there that, like using Sanmati's example, that you find yourself gossiping a lot with friends, and to you up until now, until hearing this, like it's just been conversation. But you're like, well, yeah, I do kind of gossip a lot. We are kind of always talking about something or someone or something in a way where it doesn't really feel that good to be having that conversation. Now you're aware of it. Now it's a choice, because awareness leads to the power of choice. And so you get to choose from that moment of awareness on whether or not it matters enough to you to say, oh, like I'm starting to gossip again. And don't beat yourself up or make yourself wrong for it, because like somebody said, you have all this life experience leading up to today. And, it's become a habit for you. It's become like this has been your practice up until now. But the good news for all of us is that we can rewire like our brain, and we can rewire and create new habits. And, if it matters to you, then you'll start to practice it and you'll start to catch it earlier. And then you'll realize, wow, it's been a while since I've been gossiping, because I decided that this was not that was the old version of me. The new version of me, It doesn't
True.
gossip. The new version of me is, accepting and, loves everybody and can have compassion, which probably the best example or the best definition I've ever heard of compassion is being able to notice things that might not be the way that you would have them be, like around the world or with other people, but at the same time not having to join that energy. You can still maintain an energy of loving and of acceptance and of connection to who we truly are, and not have to judge
Yeah.
someone or condemn someone for anything that they might be experiencing at the same time.
That's
So
beautiful. That's powerful.
yeah. So
I'm enjoying this. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. It's so much fun.
it's fun. It's like taking a warm bath and just of good energy.
Yeah. I'm actually feeling so fresh and active as if it's like early morning or something. It's maybe almost midnight here, but I'm
Not
like, oh
that
my God,
late.
this is so great. Let's continue doing this.
We haven't been talking that long. It's not almost midnight. What time is it there? Let me see. I'll tell you. It's oh yeah,
But doesn't matter.
it
I'm
is.
enjoying it.
It is getting close to midnight. It's like almost 11:30 your time. I love it. So my question for you, and I won't talk to you forever, because these conversations when we're speaking in like these frequencies and we're just enjoying, like, and just the intention to empower the audience could like go ongoing. We could talk about any subject, any topic, and just flow from a really empowered place, from our own life experience, of course. And this is why also I collaborate and communicate with so many different people, because like even though we're speaking of of what's truth for us and what truth from through what we experience, and then we're also speaking universal laws and things of this nature, it's through our own life experience, and we've all had different life experiences that we're flowing these awarenesses through. So it's just fun to hear different people's like stories and experiences and all these things. Well, my question for you is, knowing that someone could listen to this episode whenever, and the internet's not going anywhere anytime soon, so anything that you would just want someone to know that you feel would impact them, in a positive way, regardless of what it is. You've been doing it the whole time, but anything that you want people to for sure know from Sanmati on this day, in this co-creation, like I just want to make sure that I share this so that everybody can be uplifted by it.
Okay, I think I do have something. Again, everything I say is from the teacher because everything I've learned is from him. So he would make us like do these things. So for example, you're sitting. I want you to, and other people, if they are, I don't know if people are there on the line. I just want you to inhale, 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 inhale. Continue inhaling. Continue inhaling. Continue inhaling. Inhale, 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 inhale. Inhale. You don't get to exhale. Don't hold your breath. Just keep inhaling.
I don't have unlimited
You
breath,
can't,
somebody.
right? You can't. Right? So Master Choa would say that you can't keep inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. You need to exhale. You can't keep receiving, receiving, receiving. You need to give, you need to share. And that phenomena of giving and sharing and how universe works is actually hidden in the phenomena of our breath. It's always a balance. Inhale, exhale. And that is connected with everything. So Master Choa would say that whatever you want to receive, start giving that. And I think that's the most priceless experience for me and learning for me because he and it just makes sense. It just makes sense. It doesn't even have to be a spiritual teaching, it's just logic that if I'm planting mango seeds, I will have mango. And if I am planting thoughts of anger and hatred and fear, I cannot expect it to come back to me in the form of love and compassion. Or if I am being a miser, if I am not sharing from my blessings with the work people who can actually benefit from it, or if I am not sharing from my excess food to the ones who are hungry, then what will come back to me is the same thing. When I want to be helped, I will not have help. If you want to be supported, you support other people. And it's a very simple thing. So I do this with children a lot in workshops. Because I feel it's very important to help children learn these things early on. And so that they don't come to a point where first they are entitled and ungrateful, and then we're sitting on a chair of a therapist and doing this unlearning and rewiring and all of that. So I just hope that if we can share our gift, especially with the younger generation, I think we're saving the future generation from a lot of stuff. That's one of the most powerful things I got from the teacher.
I love that you just shared that, and I'm gonna give a suggestion to the audience. One thing to constantly give that will, because with every action comes an equal and opposite reaction, and so one thing that all of us can give, and it doesn't take any money to give this, it doesn't take any time, it doesn't take anything other than just wanting to, is giving gratitude. Like, can we be grateful for everything that already is, like, right now? Like, can we be grateful for being alive? Can we be grateful for having food to eat? Can we just be grateful for the cool things that happen, like this conversation, like the synchronicities that are happening that we can't predict? And can we just be in a state of gratitude as much as possible? And what happens when we are like, this is the most powerful, one of the most powerful frequencies in the universe, because when you're flowing out that gratitude towards whatever you believe in, the divine, God, universe, love, all that is, source, spirit, every reaction, every outputting of gratitude, there's an equal and opposite reaction of everything that we desire. And this is just the way that life works. And if you don't know this to be true yet, try it starting when you're waking up. Just try being grateful for anything, because this is going to serve you so much, not just in receiving of things, but you're in alignment in those moments with the divine and with whatever you believe. Like, you're connected, like truly connected with it. So that's when you have awesome thoughts pop into your mind. Like, ooh, it's a great idea for something that I knew I wanted to do in my life. I knew I wanted to do today. And now I'm excited to go do it. Like, that's when you receive those, when you have that connection, and your energy starts off, especially when you do it first thing in the day. I highly, highly recommend that you guys get in the practice of this out there. Now, you guys have heard me say this before, but what ends up happening is we're all going to think a first thought, second thought, third thought of the day. And on average, all of us think about 70,000 thoughts on average per day. And so just imagine what life can be like if you start off those first few thoughts as grateful thoughts, and not that you're automatically going to stay in the energy of appreciation, of gratitude all day. Like, it's not, energy is always moving. So it's still like an ongoing choice for how we're going to vibrate. However, if you start off in that energy, you're going to notice the anxious energy, the frustrated energy, the condemning energy, the gossiping energy. You're going to notice that, because that feels much different than that energy that you started the day off in gratitude. So, and for no other reason, just so that you can notice if it's important to you. If you want to feel good, if you want to enjoy your life, if you want to have awesome synchronicities, if you want the movie of your life, which all of us are the star, if you want to see the scenes on your movie that you like to see, versus like the super dramatic scenes where it's like, oh my gosh, like this character might not make it out of this scene. Like, it might be the end of their movie. And I'm not wishing that on anyone. And at some point, we're all going to have an ending to this movie, and then we'll go continue to live other movies, which is another conversation. However, just my point is, if we can make it important to us, because it has to matter to you. If it doesn't matter to you, if all this stuff doesn't matter to you, one, you wouldn't still be listening to this conversation. You would have turned it off a long time ago. So the fact that you're even listening to this whole thing lets me know that it does matter to you what your current right now state of being is, which is all that any of us can control, and what's going to reflect out into the movies of our life. And I'm so happy that you said that, because there's so many things that we can give. That's an easy one. And I would start the day with that, and then everything else, flow from there.
And the sheer joy of giving, initially it might be difficult for people, because, you're like, oh, it's my hard-earned money and XYZ. But the moment you start giving and sharing, it just changes you. I think it opens your heart, and I think it's the most powerful healing experience.
Absolutely. I see a world, Sanmati, where we're returning back, and it won't be the same as it was, because we have all this beautiful technology and we can fly all around. And I'm waiting for the human to step up and set the tone as far as teleportation. Like, that hasn't been something that I've focused my attention and energy on. But
Trust me.
there will be a human that's like, you know what, I got this down, and I'm gonna show the rest of you guys how to do it. I'm so calling you in so that It doesn't take me 30 hours to fly over to Australia, like I have in the past, and probably a really long time to get over to
No,
India. And what were you gonna say?
I've been traveling so much past 4 years for work that if someone asks me, oh, where do you live? My answer is that I live out of a suitcase. And that's literally been true. So there are days when I wish that can't I sleep in my bed and wake up where I need to? So like, what are these scientists doing? When will they come up with this technology? I'm telling you, I'm really waiting.
For sure, for sure. It's everything's evolving, and everything that we use now, like so easily, like smartphones and all this stuff, was unheard of 25 years ago. People were like, "What? Like you're talking like the what we're doing right now? Like we're thousands of miles away, and there. I mean, we can talk to each other. There's no delay, like no delay at all. It's just awesome. So there's lots of cool things coming for all of us to play with and enjoy. And the key is like, can we all be happy now without having all this stuff, all this external stuff that is going to continue to evolve because we share a planet with 7.7 billion people. And the fact that we're talking about it, and I've said teleportation, and you got really excited about that, like I think that would be something that all of us get really excited about. And so right now it might seem far-fetched. However, I see everything as possibility, and I'm just excited for everything to continue evolving. And in the meantime, I'm going to just have fun with what we can use right now, what we can do, and focus on that and put my energy into that, and we'll evolve constantly, all of us. So such a fun conversation. Do you want to share anything that you want the audience to know as far as to connect with you? Your links and all this stuff will be there so they can connect with you on Instagram. And you mentioned social media is something that you just decided to do not too long ago. So happy that you did, because I wouldn't have found you.
And I'm grateful for it. I think the reason behind doing something has to be right. And I think I just needed to come to peace with that. That, okay, why am I doing this? Because it cannot be for fame, or it's not for followers, it's not for likes. I think when that becomes your reason, it is a short recipe for anxiety and stress and low self-esteem and doubt. So for me, I think I needed to know why I'm going to be on social media and what is it that is so unique to me that I want to share with the world. So I think once that clarity came in, it became easier with every passing day. And now I feel that I've received so much, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to do what I have the privilege to do every day, because I think I built a life from which I don't need a vacation, or I don't have like Monday blues, or I'm not looking forward to a weekend. I work 7 days and I'm available 24/7. So I feel that it's something good. So I think what I would like to share with people is, in whichever part of the world you are, just look up pranic healing, find a center near you, and give this gift to yourself, because the knowledge and understanding of pranic healing will truly transform your life, your relationships, your health, work, business, every, because everything is about energy, and the school helps you really study that in depth. And you don't have to take the course and become a professional healer. You can be a homemaker, you can be a school teacher, and you can still be someone who practices energy.
I love it. I love it.
That is what I do.
I love it. No, I appreciate you emphasizing that, because that anybody out there, I always say, if you have even a slight like curiosity about something, or an energetic like pull towards something, like a new life experience, there's something there for you on your journey. So I'm so happy that you emphasized that right there at the end, because if that's you out there and you follow through on that, like 100%, like that life experience will serve you and move you in the direction of just being just more fulfilled, having a more full life, just having more fun. I mean, just every area of life can be improved by just one little shift in consciousness. And this, I've been sharing this a lot, like lately. Like I did a video on the beach the other day, and I just asked people, like, how many people are open to having new consciousness come from anywhere? And nobody could answer me. I was just doing a video. It wasn't like live. It was just, but I just wanted to pose that question and just invite people to be open and to get out of their own way sometimes. Like sometimes we block our own blessings because we think that we know how it's going to come and when it's going to come and who it's going to be. And like we're just in our little human, minds, and like we're so much more than that. So get out of your own way and take inspired action steps towards the things that you feel like you want to see evolve in your life. And just by doing that, like the life experience alone will bring you more clarity and, just bring so many awesome things to you. So thank you for sharing that and all your beautiful light with me and with the audience. You're an awesome human. I'm happy that I know that you exist now out there in India.
No, the pleasure is all mine, and I'm so, so grateful that I had this experience with you. And I'm really looking forward. I think I'm going to schedule in to see your podcast one by one, because I just scrolled through and I realized that, oh my God, such beautiful subjects and all these beautiful people from all across the world. So thank you for doing what you're doing, because I feel that, you're giving everybody such a beautiful platform and you're creating this global community. Um, it's beautiful, it's powerful, and thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate you, and the pleasure's not all yours. The pleasure is all ours. So I will not give you that, because I'm having lots of pleasure talking to you as well. So I appreciate you.
I think from now on, it's going to be a mutual admiration society.
For sure, for sure. Everything that I think about and everything that I do is all about how can we. Like that's my questions now to the universe is
True.
How can we? How can we? My affirmations. I have different things written around my place, and it's all about like we. It's like everything's collaboration with me, because I started to say this a second ago and I stopped myself, but I'll just remind that there was a time in human history where it wasn't even an option to not be about we, because we were living in tribes, and if you that could catch fish didn't go catch fish, we wouldn't have any food to eat. And if you that could grab logs and bring logs to the fire didn't do that, then the fire would go out. And if you that could keep the saber-tooth tigers away and the other villagers, like if you didn't do that, then we'd all pass away. So it wasn't about like, do I feel like helping my brothers and sisters today? You helped each other, because if not, then you all perished. So it was just
you co-create, you coexist,
Yeah.
and I think that's where we are headed. And
for sure.
I'm just looking forward to what the year has in store for us.
Me too. Well, I appreciate you and appreciate all of you guys out there. Share this episode for sure. If you guys are watching this, I can't see you live on Facebook right now, but if you are, share this episode. This will be definitely valuable for people. And I'm going to continue to stream these for you guys. Like it wasn't something that I always did, but if one person is impacted by what we just shared, then it's all worth it. So why not? Yeah, why not? So I love it. Well, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys that have been rating and reviewing the podcast on iTunes and following us on Spotify. You're making it easier for people to find this, so you're also doing your part in the sharing. I always believe that there's the transmitters, which me and Sanmati are transmitting information, and you may be receiving information right now. I believe that both parts have equal value, because you as the receiver, not only are you going to take that, embody the new awarenesses that you have and go live that out and inspire those around you, you also can take it a step further and share it with other people that me and Sanmati don't know, and they can share with people that you don't know, and the ripple effect can go on and on and on. So appreciate all of you guys and that are reviewing. Leave one, say Sanmati, that awesome human, like leave a review for her and say what you learned or what you became aware of, and I'll screenshot it and share it with her. I know she'll enjoy that. And we'll talk to you guys soon on another episode. I appreciate you all. Sending you guys so much love. Awesome.
Bye.
So much fun. Don't leave yet, Sanmati. I'm going to end the streams and I'm going to say bye to you. I know it's late. You're like, Noel, let me go. I want to go to sleep.
No, I don't want to. I'll actually have to start the Instagram